Alright everyone, welcome to a new video here on Zach Archer Games. Now this is a fun little video that's pretty niche, all things considered, but I mean it still could be fun for gamers alike, I think. It's a video where I'm going to be going through a form that I put together, actually, for a challenge that we do on a Discord. That I run called RNG, Rascals and Gents. On that Discord server, we do things called the Gents Challenge every 2 months. Now, primarily the intention of a Gents Challenge is to get games off your backlog. And usually the format is something like everybody posts their lists of their at least 15 or so games that they have in their backlog they want to finish. You get randomly partnered up, and then you each assign each other 2 games to finish within a 2-month deadline. If you finish one of them, you succeeded, you're a gent. That's all you got to do. If you want to go above and beyond and beat both of the games, you'll be a supreme gent. And if you don't beat either of them, you're a rascal. So that's a failure. But we always mix in different themes. Sometimes the themes can be as simple as retro games, or horror games, things like that. But more and more recent times, we keep getting changes to the formula. So not necessarily being partnered up, different things. Like last time, or a couple challenges ago, was the one I submitted called The Chosen One, where one person at random out of all the participants is decided to be the chosen one, and then they assigned everyone their games instead of anyone being partnered up. This time around, this was an idea from my friend Luke, and we're calling it Last Games Standing. So essentially everybody's going through and eliminating games from people's lists until there's 2 games left. So everybody will eliminate 1 game from everyone's list, essentially, all the way until there's 2 games left, and those are the ones that are assigned for the challenge. I should say, by the way, there'll be a link in the description if you want to join the Discord. Feel free. We just talk about games, movies, whatever. Just general chat if you'd like. But we always have these challenges every couple months. If you want to get in on the next one, feel free to join up, and then you'll always be notified when there's a new challenge coming up. But so essentially the spirit of the challenge that Luke presented is that, and when he initially pitched the idea, it was straight up elimination. We'll take turns eliminating 1 game from each person's list until there's 2 left. But then, practicality wise, I asked if we could revise it a bit, and this was kind of the most practical outcome. Essentially, every participant fills out this form and ranks every game from 1 to ultimately 17 in this case, because for the basis of the challenge, you have to have 1 more game on your list than there are a number of people. It sounds very complicated. Kind of is in some ways, but you get it once you get it. Most challenges don't have this many layers to it. All right. So essentially here, I'll show you just a preview of the poll. This is my list. Now you'll see the 17 games on the side here, and then as you scroll over, eliminate first all the way to eliminate last. So eliminate first is the one I will guarantee will not be assigned to the person that I'm putting this for. So that's the biggest power everyone has. Everybody could have, you could have 15 people say they want this 1 game. They'll never eliminate it. They'll put it eliminate last. But as long as there's 1 person who says eliminate first, it's out. It's going to be out. Because essentially how it goes, once I do the process, is, let's say we're going to my list. I'll start with my list here of 17 games, and I will randomize everybody else into an order. All right, and this will simulate an elimination order. So, say the next person, Holy Hand Grenade, he ends up being first in that ranking. Okay, so I would go over to his submission, and whatever game he eliminated first from my list, that would go off. And then the next person up would go for, I would just see whatever game is highest on their elimination ranking. that one gets eliminated. And so there's a bit of a random element in terms of you could put that you want to eliminate a game second, but if you get randomly drawn to be the first one to eliminate, that won't even matter. And so if you have a game that's eliminated second, but everybody else eliminated last, then it'll last all the way to the end. So there's a random element in that way to where the order is pretty crucial, but that's the best way to simulate eliminating, because practically it would be cool to have the drama of like, whoa, eliminating one at a time and just having to decide out of what's left each time on the fly. But you can't really do that because it's kind of impossible to wrangle that many people together and coordinate different orders for every person. It's a lot. Even this is quite a process, but it'll at least simulate as if we were eliminating one by one. And when I reveal everybody's games, which by the time you see this video that will be revealed because I don't want to show my results before doing the actual reveal, but when I do that, I'm planning on showing exactly how it worked. Like this person in the simulation, essentially, this person eliminated this game, then this person eliminated this game, and so on until there's two left. All right, all that being said, I initially wanted to do a video. I was thinking about doing a video of me going through and doing all my eliminations for everybody. But as I thought about it, I'm like, well, that's going to take a long time. And for me particularly, I wanted to put thought into it. And there were a lot of games I didn't know. I wanted to at least get a quick snippet of gameplay. And so because it became a much longer process, we're talking an hour or two at least just going through these lists. So, because it's over 100 games in the end. So it's quite a task, especially if you're not just randomly clicking answers. And it's interesting just looking at some of the results so far, or some of people's responses so far. There's so many different strategies of how people went about this. Some people had a couple they cared about and then just randomly voted, which could have like huge catastrophic effects on the rest of the outcome for each person's games. There's also some that had clear vendettas on specific games and made sure to kill them, and yeah, they were cut just because one person. There was one, like, I don't know what games I'm assigned when I'm recording this video. I don't know that yet, but I know for a fact, I'll just say, since the results are already out there, Final Fantasy 13 was one that a lot of people had at the very end for my as far as elimination, like they would eliminate it last or second to last kind of thing. But then there was one person who eliminated it first. I don't remember who it was, but that just put a kaput. Just nullified all that. So that's crazy how much power. Everybody's got that little bit of power. You know, everybody's having an effect on everybody's list in this one. So it's interesting. But I'm interested to see how it turns out. I don't know yet. But let's get into it. I'm not going to again, there's tons. There's 17 games for each person. We had to specifically each do 17 games for the process because since there's 16 participants, 15 people will be eliminating from each person's list because like I don't have any effect on mine. Even though I filled one out, just because you have to for as far as the form's concerned, it won't factor in at all. So 16 participants, but 17 games. That way, once 15 are eliminated, there's 2 left. So it's a whole thing, but we figured it out. All right. So I just want to go through briefly what my games were. Oh, side note, my friend Blinkoom over on his YouTube channel, Blinkoom, he also did a video like this. Again, I'm from the past, so I don't know when exactly he posted it. If it was already posted before this, if it's going to be posted after this, or it's the same time. But just keep an eye out or go check it out. You know, I'll post a link in the description if it is out there because it's cool. I just brought it up to him as an idea of like this would be a fun video. It was really kind of like hint. I want to see you do a video on it because I think he would be a lot more interesting to see do the process, just to see his different takes on these different lists because there's some big variety on these lists of games. But I wanted to say that I have an added layer, like a challenge within a challenge for me. My friend Alec and I, over on our YouTube channel, Tarkaron, we did a challenge for the year where the challenge is to have the most points by the end of the year based on a list of games. We each have a list of 10 games that we wanted to complete for ourselves within the year. And then we each assigned each other 5 games to finish within the year. Those 5 games are worth 2 points. The 10 games are worth 1. And whoever has the most points at the end of the year will award the other one a trophy of the best gamer, Tarkron's best gamer. That being said, we had lists of 15 games each for that challenge. And so that just comprised my list. And where did I get the 2 other games? Well, it's 2 more Call of Duty games, is what it is. Well, actually, because I technically had Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 as part of my 15 games. I only have Rechain of Memories on there. So I had to add 3 Call of Duty games, because one of my 10 games I had assigned myself was a Call of Duty game, any Call of Duty game. So I was like, I'm going to guarantee myself points one way or another. So 4 Call of Duty games, and the rest is my list from that challenge. So a little different than other years where I might use different methods or just do go on vibes, what I'm feeling. Put some great games on this list. Call of Duty Black Ops, Call of Duty Ghosts, Call of Duty World at War, Call of Duty World War II. These were essentially cannon fodder, because I feel like naturally no one wants to assign someone a Call of Duty game to finish for a challenge. I don't know what it is. I mean, there's a combination of it's a pretty easy challenge and there's not really much depth to it. It's not like a new experience. It's like Call of Duty. If you play Call of Duty, it's another Call of Duty game kind of thing. But I have a ton of them, so I just put them on there. I assumed they would be cannon fodder, and they were for the most part. So that's fine, but I also wouldn't have been mad to play one either, you know. Dragon Quest IX, Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy XIII, Horizon Zero Dawn, Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, Life is Strange 2, Ni no Kuni, that's remastered, Resident Evil 4, Sandland, Skies of Arcadia Legends, The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, and Yooka-Lately. So quite some variety in there. Some pretty big games as well. I really don't mind most of these games, but I just voted theoretically what I would have picked for myself probably, which ultimately ended up having Ni no Kuni and Life is Strange 2 as the last 2 I eliminated, because I just think that would have been a fun combo. Alright, Holy Hand Grenade. I'm not going to break down every elimination, obviously that would take a while, but I'll just highlight certain things where I was thinking generally. Like what stood out to me, what was important to me in voting, my strategy and whatnot. First of all, my mission statement going into my response here. Any super short games, you're cut. I made sure you were eliminated first, because especially some of these people who are like veterans of this challenge, I'm not about to let you have a 2-hour game on your list. It's not happening. Cut. DLC, cut. I just don't fuck with the DLC on these challenges, really. And then a couple of these were like a couple of DLCs, like an expansion pack, pretty vague. So I was like, just get them out of here. So the first one I eliminated was the Alan Wake 2, the Lake House, and Night Springs DLCs. Just because I want some clean, whole games. Just get it out of here. So that's the one I guarantee would not make it. Other than that, looking at this list, Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the only one I had played of these games, which is the case with a lot of these lists. I didn't play a lot of them, so I was really judging on vibes and what I think, what I would be feeling, what I think would be good for them, etc. So 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim has always stood out for me as an excellent option, as something I would play. So I immediately put that into the final to eliminate 16th. The other one I eliminated last was Resident Evil 6. Oh yeah, I forgot about this. The only reason I put Resident Evil 6 at the end is because Ninja Pengu on our Discord had posted at one point that he was making sure to eliminate Resident Evil 6 first on everybody's list that had it. So I voted after that fact, so I just factored that in. I was like, all right, I'm not going to waste an elimination on Resident Evil 6. I'll throw it at the end. And it will get eliminated no matter what. So that was my logic. You know, maybe it's dumb, who knows. But then Final Fantasy IX, I just kind of put towards the end of all. out of these games. One I generally fuck with. What am I saying fuck with? Like, yeah, not too many other ones there that were big for me one way or another. The Rebel, the Rebellion. I immediately thought, nice try. Get DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing out of here. First of all, it's funny because we're going to be potentially doing a little review of this on Tarkaron, potentially with a little special guest. And so that'll be coming within like a month or two. But that's nothing. That's like literally an hour and a half or 2 hour game, I'm assuming. I looked up some of these on howlongtobeat.com just because like that was important for me. I didn't want to accidentally give someone an hour-long experience as a challenge. Get it out of here. DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing, that's not a challenge. Any kart racing game is going to be like a one-sitting experience, so no. The Adventures of Mr. Bobley, he had some weird games on this list, so I eliminated that one next. Sword of the Blackstone looks really strange. I have no idea what that is. I was like, get it out of here. And then my standouts were Astrobot. Of course, Astrobot kind of skated to the end for pretty much everyone that had it, because that's usually one of the few games I had played, and it's excellent. So, of course, throw that at the end. And Lifeline. Now, the Rebel, the Rebellion, I know is a Pete Dorr fan because he found the Discord through a video we did with Pete Dorr. And this Lifeline is a very Pete Dorr game. I only know of this game because of Pete Dorr. It's funny. It's like one of those ones where you like have to use like a mic, if I'm remembering correctly, like on the PlayStation 2. I just remember it being really cringy and like awkward and one of those scuffed experiences. So I was like, hell yeah, throw it to the end. There's almost no way it lasts, because if people don't know it, then it's screwed. But hell yeah, throw it to the end for me. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, hell yeah, throw that towards the end, because it's another licensed game. He had some interesting mix of licensed games and then weird ones I hadn't heard of. But yeah, that's about it for me on this one. Animal Well, I made relatively late because I know it's a big game that people are big fans of, but I haven't played it myself. Ninja Pengu. I did a bold decision. I said, fuck Legend of Zelda, and I killed Echoes of Wisdom right out the gate. Take that. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I was like, let me get some of the basic ones. Like, he had some interesting, fun ones on his list. I guess a lot of them are fairly mainstream, but I was like, I'm going to eliminate Zelda first, and if not, then Pokemon Scarlet, you know? And then Luigi's Mansion 2, Metroid Prime. Now, these are like the more, you know, I didn't feel like we would have as interesting, like, for Ninja Pengu to hear his thoughts on it. I didn't think there would be as much interesting to say, especially like Pokemon games. I'm sorry to the Pokemon fans out there. I love Pokemon, but I just don't think, you know, if you've played a Pokemon game, you know what it is. So it's like if I'm trying to give a new experience to people, I kind of steered away from it sometimes. That's ironic. I'm wearing this Pokemon shirt. Stadium Thought. This is Pokemon Stadium. But so I'm sorry if I crushed people's dreams there. Ultimately, I put at the end Donkey Kong Country Returns because I'm a big DK head. Big DK fan. Love that game. And then also had Red Dead Redemption at the end just because he loves Red Dead Redemption 2. And interested to see like what his thoughts were playing the original after the fact, as I know 2 is often seen as the more highly esteemed. But generally I kind of catered this ranking towards games I think he would enjoy more. So I put Silent Hill 2 towards the end, and South Park Stick of Truth. I thought those would all be good games for him. I also sprinkled in Fire Emblem Three Houses just because I thought that would be an interesting one, and also a tough challenge as well because it's a meaty game. Boss Chass, I said there's no way you're getting... Boss Chass is a veteran of this game. He's a supreme gent fanatic. He always not only succeeds every challenge, but he'll get that extra title. He'll finish 2 games every time, consistently. every challenge he's participated in. So there's no way I'm giving him a layup. When I checked out how long some of these games were, Sonic Triple Trouble, it listed as like an hour and a half. I'm like, no shot is that happening. Bye. Gone. And then secondly, Mischief Makers. Mischief Makers is another very short game. No shot. Boss Chaz, come on. Sorry, I can't give you the layups. I really can't. If anyone needs a challenge, it's you, my friend. So ultimately, what are the ones I threw at the end? Skies of Arcadia Legends. I threw at the end because I have it on my list, so I thought it would be kind of cute if we both somehow ended up with it. That was my thought process there. And also just would be an interesting game to hear your thoughts on. And Tears of the Kingdom, because I thought that would be a tough challenge. Sorry, it's a long game, so I was just like, F it. Chrono Cross. Obviously, I know it's a good game as well. I haven't finished it, but I put a decent amount of time into it and really liked it. But, yeah. Josh Prep. I looked at his list and it said Mario plus Rabbids. Pow. Gone. Not only probably on the easier side of things, but I've just always not really jived. Like, I've never played them, but it's just not my type of thing. And so, yes, very selfish of me, but not my type of thing, so it's just immediately being eliminated. Kentucky Route Zero TV edition. I just remember hearing like some people liked it, some people like it's okay. So it was like, I don't know. And then it's on the shorter end, so I cut that too. Ultimately, the games I put at the end are my boy Bug Snacks. Bug Snacks I finally got. I just downloaded it digitally. I wanted it physically for the longest time, but then saw it was on sale for like $7 digitally. I've just wanted it. It's one of those weird, quirky games, almost like a Viva Pinata in their designs. It's like bugs that are like food, designed like food. I just thought that would be a really interesting game to see someone designed. And then also Tales of Vesperia. That's where the name Sharkron comes from. We played it years ago. I'm due for a replay on the definitive edition, but Tales of Vesperia, great. And then also Star Ocean, First Departure R. I've heard amazing things about it. Always looked really good, so thought that would be an awesome option as well. And then Resident Evil 6 just threw it towards the end there because of Ninja Pengu's choice. That's about it for that one. Luke, my friend Luke, who came up with this challenge idea. I'm sorry. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade had to go. That's a very quick experience, and you do that on your own time, son of a bitch. I also cut Cave Story Plus. No particular reason. I'm just saying that. Neon White, I hadn't heard of. I looked briefly at gameplay, and it's like, it doesn't seem for me. So if it's not for me, it's not for you. Sorry. Penny's Big Breakaway, I thought that would be fun, but also kind of too easy a challenge. Ultimately, my biggest takeaways were Ghost of Tsushima and Celeste, which were both games that I beat last year. I felt kind of obligated to put them there because they're both excellent experiences that I would recommend to everybody. And two very different ones as well. I also put Starfield late, just because I thought that would be interesting, and Meteor one, and Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. I'm actually surprised I didn't put Return of the Obra Dinn later. I feel like I probably would have done that if I would have changed something now. Eskilium. I did a bold pick, so sorry Last of Us fans. I eliminated Last of Us Part 1 right out the gate. My reasoning being, this is a bold leap in logic, but I was like, there's a good chance that he played the original Last of Us, and he just wants to play Part 1, the remake. And with that being a possibility, I said that would be the best to eliminate first, because it would not really be a new experience. I haven't played Last of Us, so I don't have a specific attachment to it, but that's my logic on that. But if he hasn't played Last of Us at all, then maybe I wouldn't have done that. But yeah, So I did it just in case to cover that base, just to make sure we had a more new, fresh experience. If so, Grime Definitive Edition, I just thought it looked interesting. Threw it at the end. It looked different than a lot of the other games and was unique in that way. So I threw it at the end. Fallout 3, I thought out of the Fallouts, that's the one. I played Fallout 4 like an hour of that. Other than that, Fallout 3 is the only one I've spent more than a couple hours in. I haven't played New Vegas at all yet. But Fallout 3 I've always liked. I just never saw it through myself. But I thought that would be probably the best starting point of these three if you're going to start with any of them. So threw that at the end because I would like him to get one of these Fallout games. He has 3 of them on there. But also Cyberpunk, threw that towards the end as well because that seems like it's excellent. The Metro games look good to me. I haven't played them myself. So threw that towards the end as well. And then generally I had Halo and Call of Duty early on because I just feel like, again, as far as a new experience, if you played a Halo or Call of Duty game, you've played most of them minus minor tweaks. Again, this is my logic. You can use any logic for how you vote, and I saw very different logic for how different people voted. So, again, it's interesting talking this through with the results already being done. So I don't even know how this turned out. If my strategy has made sense or not. My brother, Krillin Ball Z. You might not be expecting a vote like this, but I love Astrobot. I love Astro's Playroom. But Astro's Playroom had to go. Not today, sir. Not today. That's a couple hours right there. No slam dunk for you. He's another one who he has the best record of anybody. Like, he's participated in every Gent challenge and has always been at least a Gent. He's never failed. So we don't give someone who never failed a 2-hour game. As much as it is an excellent experience, that's one you can just down that like a drink at the end of the night. You know, it's just do that on your own time again. As much as I love it, you know. And then next up I see Bug Fables. Bug Fables I love that went right to the end, as well as Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. My two loves, Paper Mario and Donkey Kong. Bug Fables is essentially a spiritual successor to Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. An indie developed game, but I love it. I truly love it. There's like minor technical things like with some of the puzzle solving elements out in the world, but very minor in terms of like there's so much charm in the world. I love the writing and really like a love letter to Paper Mario fans. Like legitimately holds up with like against other Paper Mario games in terms of even the combat, the battle system. They actually do an interesting thing with the 3 main characters, how you can switch out and it changes like the power of attacks and whatnot. Is a really cool system that actually is really one of the best of any Paper Mario game, you know, and it's not a Paper Mario game. I also threw Formagia at the end because that's the biggest outlier on his list. That's a game I often forget existed, and I think I've never heard a single person talk about it. So that would just be a weird one for him to get if that somehow happened. So throw it at the end. I saw Tales of the World, Radiant Mythology on the PSP. That was like a really weird one. I didn't even know that specific game existed. So I was like, yeah, that would be an interesting one to be assigned. But yeah, after Astro's Playroom, I took out Stray because it's another super short one. Minecraft Story Mode Season 2 because no one wants to hear that noise. And Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope because fuck Mario plus Rabbids for no reason. Chronolink 9-1. This is my other partner from Tarkaron, who he did a similar thing to where most of his 15 game list is present on here. I know minus a couple ones. I know Baldur's Gate 3 is the big one missing because I think he plans to play that with friends, so timing wise probably wouldn't work for a challenge. But I don't know if there's any other ones he took out. But so a couple of these ones were specifically from me. And though that would technically give him more points in the challenge, I ultimately resigned to go with actually what games I would recommend him most for this challenge. So those were Bug Fables, as I said. That was one of the 5 I assigned him for the year, as well as Hogwarts Legacy, Ghost of Tsushima, and Mass Effect and Astrobot. That's the 5 right there, and they're all at the end for me in that order. Bug Fables, just my darling out of these, and then Hogwarts Legacy is amazing, and I think specifically for him is the one I would assign him above all else, really, because he's a big Harry Potter fan. There's a lot to love there. Ghost of Tsushima I love as well, so yeah. Other than that, I murdered Echoes of Wisdom. I thought he had mentioned, I don't know if he mentioned something along the lines of like he started playing it already, or I don't remember what it was exactly, but just in case, I was like, get it out of here. And it's not even one of the 15 games. Also, Record of Lodoss War, D-Lith, and Labyrinth, I was like, get that out of here too, if possible, because it's a very short experience, only a few hours. Mr. Kingdom Hearts Boy, I was like, I didn't have much that was important to me from this list, but I just said fuck Elden Ring. Fuck Elden Ring, because why not? It's like, I was like, no one else is gonna eliminate it first. Let me just be the one to do it for no reason. Sorry, I know it's kind of fucked up when you're not like particularly passionate about certain games, and it's just like you just fuck up someone else's potential game they wanted them to have. But this dude, Mr. Kingdom Hearts Boy, this is a bold list, like some really meaty games: Baldur's Gate 3, Dragon Quest 11. Final Fantasy games, Persona 5 Royal. That Pathfinder game I looked up was super long as well, meaty. So there's a couple mixed in like indie games and others, but he could really get set up. And I'm so bold that he put Persona 5 Royal in there again, because I feel like he's been assigned that a couple times, and it's like a recipe for failure. And you're almost always going to play the other game first, and then after you're done that game, there's no way you have time for Persona 5 Royal, so it's one of those tough ones. If he got Persona 5 Royal and Baldur's Gate 3, it's like, Jesus Christ. So ultimately, though, I put Ghost of Tsushima at the end, because that is the one I have experience with. Amazing game. And then I put Dying Light towards the end, because that was a winner when we did the series on Tarkron, called Box Art Battles, just based on this box art. It was really good. It won. So I'm just curious. Like, tell me how it is. And I also put Dragon Quest 11, Baldur's Gate 3 towards the end. Both really good games from what I hear, but also really long games. Blink. Partner in crime in terms of, we both did videos on this. And he'll also be joining us on Tarkron to talk about this challenge as well. So here we are. First of all, this one immediately stuck out to me. 428 Shibuya Scramble. I had seen this in someone's collection video before, and I was already really intrigued that I'd never heard of this game, but it looked really cool. And then I watched a bit more gameplay, and I'm like, okay, shoot, it seems cool. And I threw that all the way to the end. And I was so mad, because there was a bunch of people that seemed to do it, and someone fucked it up and like eliminated it first. So I don't know how all the votes went, all the eliminations went yet, but that is just stood out to me. Like, damn. I also put Epic Mickey. Someone fucked that up, that's for sure. There were a few of us who understood. Epic Mickey is the best meme game to assign someone for this challenge. Not only is Alec Chronolink 9-1, he had it previously. I think the Rebellion had it previously. They both did not have good experiences with it. It's just like a cursed Gens Challenge game. I was like, please give it to him again. It would be so funny to have him talk about it on Tarkron. But no, someone eliminated it first. At least one or two people did. And then Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Big DK head. And someone fucked up the Lost Vibe as well. I think it was actually Alec that fucked up the Lost Vibe and eliminated it first. Because that was like the one exception I made, because it's like a 5-hour game or so. But I was like, that would just be so funny. I'm a big Lost fan and licensed game fan. And I still haven't played this myself, but it'd just be funny to have that as a game that he was assigned. Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom, also really cool. One that's on my backlog that I'm really, really curious to play myself, so put that towards the end. As well as Infinite Undiscovery and Izuna, The Legend of the Unemployed Ninja, which is a game I hadn't heard of. These are all awesome choices, a pretty fun list altogether. There was a couple. Oh, I just said fuck Horizon Zero Dawn. My logic on that was this is a game with a bunch of really unique and some weird games that I was like, it would be a shame if just Horizon Zero Dawn was the game out of a list like this. So just get it out of here. Same with Sonic Frontiers. It was like a little too basic for me compared to the others. But then the others like Warlocked on the Game Boy Color, Landstalker, Legend of Oasis, nothing stood out to me about those. So I was like, put them early and middle in the eliminations for me. Shadow Eternia. The first one I eliminated was Quake official expansion packs. Like this vague shit, I don't even know. I can't even quantify it. If I couldn't tell you right now, how many expansion packs are there? I have no idea. What is Quake official expansion packs? Get it out of here. Get it out of this challenge. And also Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree because of the DLC rule. Though as far as DLC goes, it's probably the fullest experience, like long, an actual challenge to get through. So I understand that, but I said fuck Elden Ring before, so why not change? Or why change now? Call of Duty Black Ops 6, like I said before with the Call of Duties. And then ultimately I left it with, for some reason, it was on a couple lists. I didn't even mention this with Luke's, but I put Hitman Blood Money pretty far as well on that one. I don't know why. It was just like, all right, fuck it, Hitman, send it. And Sonic X Shadow Generations. But I also threw in Psychonauts towards the end just because we've had mixed results from Psychonauts on the challenge as well. Pestro. First up, I said, fuck Yoshi's Story. That's another dinky-ass 2-hour, 3-hour game. Get it out of here. Landstalker, again, didn't really do much for me. But then ultimately, Lego City Undercover is the last. Don't eliminate Lego City Undercover, I said. I played it very briefly on the Wii U, but I always look back on it and I'm like, I love that game. I want to play that. I still haven't played through it myself, but it's like surprisingly one of the better Lego games I've played. It's a single player experience too, which is weird, but solely single player. And it's just cool. It's got a cool identity to it, surprisingly. And Radiata Stories is one I played briefly in the PlayStation 2 before. And it's interesting, so I thought that would be a fun one. A little different. But yeah. Terra the Red Mage. I eliminated Sorry We Were Closed. It's one I didn't know about. An indie game, clearly. I looked at some gameplay, it just didn't look good to me. Sorry. I know some people had it late on their lists, so hopefully I didn't fuck it up too much. Crow Country I'd heard good things about, but it was also a very short game, so I was like, sorry. That was my reasoning there. And then what did I have for her at the end? Astrobot, of course, and Life is Strange. Those are the two that I had played and really like. But runner-up right before it is Pathologic. I thought that looked like a cool, weird game. So I was like, that would be something weird and unique. And then Elder Scrolls 3, I've only played briefly, but I was like, that's another interesting one. Some interesting ones on this list. Indiana Jones and Ender Magnolia. Ender Magnolia I didn't know about, but that looked cool too. So I wonder how that one turned out. And then lastly, Sir Walter Dubs. I eliminated Psychonauts, Rhombus of Ruin. He previously had played Psychonauts on the challenge, and he did not like it too much. Some of the mechanics, I guess, he didn't fuck with. But that ultimately didn't inform my decision. But Psychonauts, Rhombus of Ruin is like a VR game, apparently. I didn't know. But it's also very short, like a 2-hour game. So that's out. Same with Record of Lodoss War before, like I said. It's only like a 5-hour game. So I had that second. All right. It's pretty simple, my logic on those. I want someone to have a pretty, like a decent challenge. And also, like, I prioritize decent challenge, newer experiences, and then obviously my particular experiences and my tastes. So that's how it went about for the most part. I ultimately ended with Hogwarts Legacy and Zero Escape, Virtue's Last Reward, and Breath of the Wild. 3 amazing games that are very worthy of being played. And would love to hear his takes on all of them. But Breath of the Wild, as much as it's like objectively right up there with them, I just knocked it down one little peg only because I'd be more interested to see these two other games. Breath of the Wild is very, it's a basic, amazing game, often referred to as one of the best games of all time. Not disputing it, but not disputing that, but I combine disputing and refuting. I'm not doing either of those things there. It's an amazing game, but just gives a little edge to Hogwarts and Zero Escape. Also, randomly through SpongeBob the Yellow Avenger towards the end. It's just a weird game. I guess it's like on the PSP, and he previously had a SpongeBob game that he had a cursed experience with, so I thought it would be an interesting follow-up experience. But yeah, but there you have it. That's my form. That's my form for the last game's standing Gents Challenge. All right, I didn't go into in-depth detail on each one, just because I wanted to spare you on that, and the actual process of me choosing ended up being like very rote and very methodical, watching gameplay, going through everything. Just know I put a lot of thought into this. This is my general thoughts going into it. I wanted to give people a decent challenge. It wasn't all about like, let me give them the longest games. It was just about cut out those really short games that wouldn't be any challenge, and then cut out DLC and some of the not clean game stuff. And then a couple I had the bold get out these big games that no one's going to get out potentially, in favor of getting some of my others up there. And then I had a couple games that I was always pushing. Bug Fables, the Donkey Kong games. That's generally where I was at. Astrobot, a popular backlog lister. Astrobot. And yeah. So I had different ways I went about it. I tried to cater a little bit towards certain people, what their tastes might be as well. But ultimately is about kind of my taste. So some games people love, unfortunately, will fall to the wayside in that ranking for me. But it's very much the case just from skimming through other people's responses as well. It's very much the case. Like some people have the almost like an opposite list from me where they're fucking up my favorites, but all's fair. All's fair in the last game standing. I'm interested how it all turned out in the future, and I look forward to it. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this and more gaming content. Like I said, link in the description if you want to join us in the Discord. It's a fun community. We'd love to have you, whether you want to talk about games or just jump in on the challenges every couple months. We also have sprinkled in between Gents challenges. We'll do a film challenge where we watch a bunch of movies, TV challenge where we watch TV, and Scholars Challenge where we read books. So we sprinkle in different media throughout, but primarily the Gents Challenge is the tour de force of the RNG Discord server. All right, it's a big event that a lot of people like to get involved, but we could always use more. So we'd welcome you with open arms, baby. All right, take care.